All right. On to number 3. Got a lot to cover today in this podcast, so strap in or strap on if that's your thing. I won't judge you. I'll start with talking about the previous podcast where I talked a bit about hype and Waves plugins and monster cables. I just want to clear a little bit of that up. I actually like Waves plugins. I like monster cables. I have nothing against the actual plugins. I was just talking about the hype. And don't let yourself get trapped in the gear acquirement syndrome, or GAS, as it's called, that, a lot of us audio people get trapped in, where we don't create something because we're always looking for that next new plugin or that next new piece of audio gear. So that was just really the point of all of that. I actually like Waves plugins. They're fine plugins, but there is a lot of hype that surrounds them, and a lot of hype that surrounds monster audio cables, and not just monster, but a lot of audio cables that are out there. I've seen tests. This was about specifically speaker cables, so it's not always exactly the same when we're dealing with different kind of audio cables. But with speaker cables, there's this test done with some audiophiles, self-professed audiophiles, and they use a bunch of different high quality audio cables, and then they used just a plain wire hanger, just what you hang your clothes on. And there was no statistical difference between what these self-professed audiophiles could hear between that $100 cable and just a simple wire hanger. So that's, really what I'm talking about hype. All right, so moving on. A lot of bands from when I was coming up are putting out new records, new CDs, or I guess downloads, what you crazy kids call them today. But, Limp Biscuit has a new video out. I know I'm a metal guy, and I can get a lot of hate for saying I like Limp Biscuit, but I like some Limp Biscuit. I know that's sort of heresy in the metal world, but whatever. I can take the hate. I'm cool with that. So, check out that new Limp Biscuit video. Again, everything I mentioned, any kind of link I mention, I always try to put in the description so you can easily, see what I'm talking about. And see, koRn has a new video out called Hater, I believe. Really cool song. I'm a bit iffy on the first sort of part of the video. The song is great. The guitar sounds are great. It's good classic koRn. They sound as good as they ever have. Just the whole bullying angle, I think it's a bit overplayed. I'm not saying people haven't been bullied. Obviously they have, and obviously that is a problem, but it seems like today everybody is a victim of bullying. And you know what? They really may be a victim of bullying. I know I've been a victim of bullying when I was younger. I was actually robbed in the middle of the street. Yeah. But the whole thing the media puts together about bullying being a huge problem, which again, there's definitely some cases where it is a huge problem. I'm not trying to take anything away from those people, but you can't let yourself be a victim just because you've had a hard time, because let me tell you, everybody has had a hard time, at least some point in their life. And you can't just, be a victim forever. You may feel bad, you may feel like crap inside, but you got to get up and you got to keep moving on. And the other thing that sort of bugs me a little bit about the whole bullying thing is everybody's a victim, but nobody ever says, yeah, I've been a bully. They always say I've been victimized by a bully, which, maybe they have, but nobody ever stands up and says, I've been a bully. It's not just that you're a victim. Sometimes you're the person who's the douchebag, and that's cool. Just realize you've been a douchebag and try not to be one anymore. But back to the koRn song, overall, it's a great video, great message at the end. They really, pull it all together about people who've been bullied, and then they realize they can just get up and move on. It's a really great video. Definitely check that out. I've been a fan of koRn for, since they came out. Ever since I heard that opening riff to Blind, that blew my mind back in the day. That's when I was coming up. That kind of music was just coming out. That's when I was coming up. So obviously, time and place, and koRn really pushed the boundaries on what is metal. And I would still qualify them as metal today. Maybe you wouldn't. The whole new metal label, I don't think koRn ever really fit into what new metal was supposed to mean, of a combination of hip hop or rap with metal. Maybe like a Linkin Park fits more into that. And a lot of people took that koRn sound, including me and bands I was in, we took and incorporated some of that sound into our music. So they're sort of the godfathers of nu metal, which most people would say is accurate. But I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me if you still like koRn or if you think they suck now. I'm a fan of koRn. I've always been a fan of koRn. I'll always be a fan of koRn. And, Jonathan Davis, great frontman, really cool guy. So yeah, check out the koRn hater video. That kind of leads into some other videos I was watching on YouTube the other day. I got into the Metal Evolution series that was put out several years ago, I believe on VH1, and you can find those videos on YouTube now. Just search for Metal Evolution. There's a bunch of different episodes. I watched the first episode again, where they go into the evolution of metal from blues and jazz, and of course Black Sabbath. Then I watched the nu metal episode, and that's what really took me back into thinking about all these bands like koRn, Mudvayne, Soulfly, the Sepultura Roots album, the Roots CD, and especially that one song, Bloody Roots, Bloody Roots. That song blew my freaking mind back then, and it still does today. I mean, Max Cavalera, if that's how you say his last name, that dude is just awesome. I've been a fan of his forever. The whole fusion of the tribal element, the raw sound of Soulfly, it's just a great sound. What a great concept and a great ear, that guy really has for making music. And it's definitely been an inspiration on me. The rawness, the, pure emotive power of the vocal. Absolutely love it. Even if, some of the songs start to sound the same, I still love everything Soulfly has ever done. I think I have every CD they've ever put out. Yes, I know I'm dating myself by saying CD, but absolutely love Soulfly. Some other bands that were featured in the Metal Evolution nu metal episode would be like Deftones, and they're kind of the opposite of, say, a Soulfly that was coming up at the same time. Soulfly is really stripped down, maybe not even necessarily stripped down, because there's plenty of, Norwegian black metal, a lot of black metal bands that are extremely stripped down, where it sounds like they just have one microphone in the room and they're all just flailing away, and the sound quality is not, overproduced or produced at all, but the music is still really good. Everything doesn't have to be overproduced and polished. Sometimes, I go back and forth between what I like to make. Sometimes I just get so sick of all the EQing and compressing and making everything this huge soundscape to sound beautiful and whatever. Sometimes you just want it to sound dirty and raw. It's one of those things I just go back and forth with. But then other times I like to have the full, huge production, like a Deftones has, where they have huge soundscapes, great soaring vocals. Of course, we have our Slipknot, which also came up around that time, would fit the nu metal category. And Slipknot also released a new video, so definitely check that one out if you're a Slipknot fan, or even if you're not. Back in the day, I was a huge fan of Slipknot. And I know this is kind of cliche, especially in the metal world, but the Iowa album blew my mind. Again, my mind was blown by the Iowa album on the way they just took this huge soundscape and they were still able to make it produced, but also, still pretty raw. But that was kind of the last Slipknot album I really got into. The third album they came out with, it just seemed a little softer. And then the fourth album, they started doing clean vocals on a metal album, which, I just can't take clean vocals in Slipknot. If I want to hear clean vocals, I'll listen to Stone Sour, which is a great band. I just believe the clean vocals from Corey should belong in Stone Sour, not in Slipknot. Of course, you got to look at who's telling you this. I'm sitting here alone talking into a microphone while they're out there making millions of dollars. All right, so take that so take my suggestion for what it's worth. And speaking of Corey Taylor, who is the vocalist for Slipknot and Stone Sour, he did a collaboration with Soulfly on the Primitive album, and the song is called Jump the F Up. I try to keep things on this channel pretty clean, so I'll just say Jump the F Up. That's a great song. It's got clean vocals, and then it goes into the real heavy screaming vocals. So if you've never heard of the Soulfly Primitive album, check that out. It's track number 4, Jump the F Up. has Corey Taylor on it. Great song. That's another one of those songs that really, inspired me back in the day when I was coming up and learning to write music and getting into how I wanted to, how I wanted to sound, how I wanted to craft my sound. Today I'm more into I guess you'd call it the new American heavy metal or the Swedish metal. I really dig a lot of the stuff coming out of Sweden and Europe in general. They just have a really awesome sound in all of the European metal that's so much different from the American metal. If I had to choose one band today, that would be my favorite. I'd kind of have to choose between, say, like a Lamb of God or a Devil Driver. Of course, I can't ever leave out Cannibal Corpse. Super hard, heavy death metal. It's great stuff. Cannibal Corpse, I can't actually show the I can't actually show any of the album covers on the video because it would kick me out of the PG-13 area. Machine Head was kind of around in that new metal area too, and they really switched up their sound in The Blackening, and that album is still amazing today. Watching the Metal Evolution episode was great. It really took me back, but man, it also makes you feel really really old. And not to mention, I'm sitting here in 2014 holding CDs. I'm actually surrounded by CDs, and who buys CDs anymore? I actually buy CDs still. Who does that? I guess most people these days just do downloads from Amazon or iTunes or something. But I'm still a CD person, and that's not easy, let me tell you. I mean, back in the day, you could say, hey, baby, let's go check out this new CD. Nowadays, if you go up to some chick and say, hey, baby, come check out this new CD I got, man, she'll just turn off running. 10 minutes later, you're going to get a knock at your door. You're going to be like, oh, crap, man, it's the cops. Walk outside. The guy says, sir, this woman over here said that you were threatening to give her VD. And then you're like, no, dude, I said CD, not VD, man. And then, of course, the cop's like, what are you, like 100 years old? You got a CD? None of that actually happened, by the way. Or did it? It didn't. All right, so that's enough of me talking about nonsense. Let's move on to the actual information. I got tons of stuff to mention here, so don't stop watching yet. All right, IK Multimedia released SampleTank 3 free. So if you haven't purchased SampleTank 3, you can just head over to IK Multimedia, make sure you create an account, and you can get a free version of SampleTank 3. Now, I haven't actually downloaded this, so I don't know exactly what's included. My guess is that you're going to get a really small sample library for SampleTank 3, and I don't think you can import your previous libraries. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't downloaded it, but if somebody doesn't have SampleTank 3, go to ikmultimedia.com. If you don't have an account, just create an account, download it, and check out SampleTank 3 free, though you really should consider buying the full version of SampleTank 3. It's a really great instrument that I enjoy thoroughly. And for the SampleTank 3 owners, there was a update to SampleTank 3 today, so now we're up to 3.0.2. Today is August 28th, I think. Yeah, August 28th. Update to SampleTank 3 up to version 3.0.2, so go grab that. Also, if you're into Amplitube, they're having a sale right now, 50% off of Amplitube collection, so check that out as well. Also, if you're a SampleTank 3 owner, I put up 3 new videos this week about how to drag in patterns and use patterns from SampleTank 3 in your DAW, dragging them into your DAW, using them and editing them that way. So you can check out those 3 videos as well. The Plug and Mix VIP bundle from Plug and Mix is on sale right now for $50. That's 45 plugins for $50. An amazing deal. These plugins, they look great. They sound really good. Of course, it really matters on what you want to do, but still 45 plugins, even if you're going to only use a couple of them, the $50, it's totally worth it. I put up a little video about the installation and authorization process of the Plug and Mix VIP bundle if you want to check that out before you actually commit to purchasing it. Some people like to see how the installation and authorization goes. So there's a video up about that you can check out, and you can buy the VIP bundle. It's only for the first 5,000 people, and I did not see a counter on the page, so I don't know how many they've sold, but they've at least sold one to me. But you can check that out at don'tcrack.com and pick up the Plug and Mix VIP bundle for $50. Again, just the first 5,000 people. So if you're interested, get on that now, and you can check out more about Plug and Mix at plugandmix.com. So again, that's don'tcrack.com to buy them. To learn more about them and to download them and even demo them, it's plugandmix.com. We were talking about Waves plugins a little bit earlier, and they're having a Labor Day sale as of today, starting on August 28th. And I believe it runs through the 1st of September 2014. They're having some really great sales. So if you're interested in some Waves plugins, you can check them out on the Waves website, waves.com. Or in my opinion, you should go to audiodeluxe.com, and you should actually get a little bit more off if you go through audiodeluxe.com. So check them out. Also, Air Instrument Technology released a demo to theRiser. Now, I'm not sure if this demo is still available. They were saying it's only available for about 48 hours, but it's been about 4 days now, and it's still available as a demo, as I'm recording this podcast. So if you're interested in checking out theRiser, which is a transition, rise, fall sort of synthesizer plugin, definitely head over to the Air Music Technology page. Again, I'll have that linked in the description, and download your demo version of theRiser. I've already downloaded the demo, and I recorded a few, just a few key presses of a couple of the presets. So let's take a listen to those right here. So that is theRiser from Air Music Technology, a really cool, innovative instrument to create those transitions and rises and falls and all those things you'll find in some modern electronic music. But you can also use this for sound design, which is basically what I would be using it for most of the time. Although I do some electronic music, and theRiser, I think, is going to fit in pretty well. Again, it's just a demo right now. And one thing that was kind of weird was when I installed it, it actually gave me an option to use an iLok, which I also have the Air Instrument Expansion Pack 2, and that does not use an iLok. So I thought that was pretty interesting that theRiser is iLok enabled. So go check that out on the Air Music Technology website.
No sugar needed.
Moving on to my media composer user friends. Boris Effects has released the ability to just download or buy units from BCC 9 for Avid Media Composer. So if you just want certain things, you don't want to buy the whole, complete continuum collection or whatever, you can just buy just the units you want. And they're actually giving away a free textures unit, and all you have to do is pay with a tweet.
It's all very
so basically
simple.
How that works is you allow this program to be able to post on your Twitter feed, and then you'll be able to download your free textures unit from BCC 9, and then you can revoke access to that application at any time. As soon as you get your serial number, just head back to your Twitter account and revoke access, and you still get the textures unit absolutely for free. It's a really great deal from Boris Effects, and I downloaded mine. I put out the tweet, so I'll link to that tweet here, and you can get your own free BCC textures unit from Boris Effects just for sending out a tweet and telling people that you downloaded it. Also, for Media Composer users and Pro Tools users, head over to the Avid Blogs website, and there's a Avid blog on there about prosoundeffects.com. And what they have is, just what their name implies, a bunch of different sound effects. And the great thing is, if you go through the Avid blogs and you register on prosoundeffects.com using the code AvidSFX, so that's Avid SFX, with Avid sound effects, Avid SFX, register with that and you'll get 5 free downloads of any of the sound effects they have. You'll receive the sync license in your email, so if anybody ever asks you, hey, where's the license for this? We have to have this before we can clear it, whatever. You'll get the license in your email, so you can always show that off and say, hey, these are royalty free. I can use these in anything I want. Definitely check that out on the Avid blog site. I can't show the Pro Sound Effects website because they don't allow that for some reason, but go to the Avid blog site and register on Pro Sound Effects with Avid SFX. I downloaded my 5 free sound effects and I'll play them right here. So as you can tell, I downloaded 5 different whooshes and swooshes. I really like whooshes and swooshes. Of course, I can create those myself, but these already sound really good, and I think I can make use of those for transitions between, video clips and whatnot. They're really great sound effects, and they have more than whooshes and swooshes. They have all kinds of different sound effects. So once again, prosoundeffects.com, register and use the code AvidSFX. Get your 5 free sound effects.
Humbug!
All right, I believe that is all I have for this podcast. I talked for way too long about music at the beginning there, but there was a lot of good information there at the end, hopefully, that many of you will find useful. What I'm working on now is, of course, some presets for the 11 rack. I'm also working with a new software amp simulator, which is pretty cool. So that's all I got for today. Be sure to leave me a comment if you have a comment about anything I've said about the music, about metal, about new metal, about plugins, about updates, whatever you want to comment about. Just leave that comment below. Be sure to like or dislike and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video or podcast. I have no idea what's coming next, but we'll find out. So be sure to subscribe.
Hooray for